By defeating Ares, Kratos, the once mortal warrior, became the new god of war. However, Kratos soon found himself alone on Olympus, shunned by his fellow gods. But Kratos had no need for the love of petty gods. He had found a new family in the warriors of Sparta, gaining solace from his past in the carnage of battle.
My lord, Kratos! Another city is ready to fall! Soon all shall know the glory of Sparta!
Enough, Kratos! With every city you destroy, the wrath of Olympus grows. Soon I will no longer be able to protect you.
I need no protection.
Do not forget that it was I who made you a god, Ghost of Sparta. Do not turn your back on me.
I owe you nothing.
Then you leave me no choice.
Kratos had turned the pain of his memories into hatred. Hatred for the gods, who had refused to free him from the nightmares of his past deeds. And so he went to Rhodes to deliver the final blow to the besieged city.
Conspire against me!
The new god of war, harbinger of destruction.
I will make you suffer!
Kratos. Also known as the Ghost of Sparta, slayer of Ares, and the one who took the empty throne anew. Kratos made sure that his influence was known.
The battle is ours!
The awakened Colossus of Rhodes attempted to block his path. But the difference in size didn't matter. As again, Kratos stripped his metal flesh off like usual.
Kratos. I do not need your help, Zeus. I can take down this beast.
I offer you more than help, Kratos. I offer you power. I offer you the Blade of Olympus. It was this blade that ended the Great War and defeated the Titans. Drain your godly powers into the sword, Kratos. Only then will you reach your full potential.
An unexpected help from Zeus.
What I do now, I do for the good of all Olympus.
Without a choice, Kratos reached out for the sword. Swinging its broken arm, the bronze giant tried his best to stop the rampaging god. But to Kratos, stopping was an unfamiliar concept, even if that meant sacrificing everything he had. Thus, the Blade of Olympus was awakened. A blade created by Zeus, as means to end the war against the Titans. The blade wielded powers like its history, to rip the metal giant into tiny bits.
gods of Olympus! Do you need more proof than this?
Placing all of his godly power into the weapon had rendered Kratos mortal, vulnerable to the arms of death. Bloodied and beaten, he knew that to have any hope of survival, he must retrieve the blade of Olympus.
A powerless mortal once more, Kratos made desperate steps to the blade. Yet,
Yes, I am forced to attend to this matter myself. Athena refused to undo her mistake. Imagine caring for a creature such as yourself.
Why? Why would you betray me?
It is you who would betray me. Am I to stand idly by while Olympus is threatened? Your hands are already stained by the blood of a god. I will not let Ares' fate be my own.
The gods are petty and pathetic, and your rule is weak.
I grow tired of this insolence. I am the king of Olympus. And it is my way that is the way of the gods. You must vow to forever serve me.
I serve no one.
Then you leave me no choice.
Zeus took the blade to his own. Absorbing Kratos' power, the blade was mightier than ever. And this ex-god and a wounded mortal was no more than a child's play against Zeus.
It did not have to be this way, my son. This path is of your choosing.
A choice from the gods is as useless as the gods themselves.
Even now, as you draw your last breath, you continue to defy me? Everything you have ever known, Kratos, will now suffer because of your sacrilege.
For this, Zeus. Be certain of that.
As the life drained out of Kratos, the arms of Hades reached out to claim their prize. But there was more resting on Kratos' shoulders than he could know. Kratos was destined to bring about change so severe that it would shake the very pillars of Mount Olympus. His death was something that I could not allow. Fight, Spartan. You are not meant to die here. This is not the end.
Who are you?
I am the Titan Gaia, ever-present Mother of Earth. I have watched you become a powerful warrior, and I have been with you through all the events of your life, but I can no longer simply watch We will help you defeat Zeus. Death is an escape, Kratos. You are a warrior of Sparta, not a coward. Only a coward accepts death.
I am no coward.
Then you must fight. I will show you the way to the Sisters of Fate. Only with their power will you defeat Zeus.
Like so, Kratos defied death once more and attempted his escape from hell. Ignoring the handshakes of the damned, Kratos did make his way out, but only to find the city destroyed from godlike wrath.
My lord, I knew you could not be killed.
He managed to save one of his soldiers and sent him back to Sparta. Then Kratos rode on the Pegasus from an unknown sender. He hoped to fly straight to Olympus and settle this with Zeus, but Gaia presumed that Kratos, as of now, would stand no chance. She told Kratos to find the Sisters of Fate, and he must return to that very moment when Zeus killed him. For this seemingly impossible task, he needed strength equal to that of Olympians, the power of the Titans. First up was Typhon, a titan trapped within an icy mountain. To confront Typhon, Kratos had to grind his way in, until he ran into an unexpected figure.
God of War, you live.
I no longer walk with the gods. Who has placed you in this torment?
Zeus. My only crime was helping mankind. How long have I suffered this curse? I truly do not know. Please, Ghost of Sparta, release me from my torment!
Accused of providing humans with the fire of Olympus, a titan who was sentenced to infinite torture of pain, Prometheus. Once more disgusted by the outrageous gods, Kratos freed Prometheus from his eternal suffering.
Freed Prometheus from the torment of the gods. His flesh has tainted the fires of Olympus and embodied it with the power of the Titans. These ashes will give you great strength, Kratos. Take them within you and use this strength to defeat your enemies.
Prometheus' somewhat sacrificial death granted Kratos of the powers of Titans.
Let the rage of the Titans fuel your blades, Kratos.
This overwhelming power was more than enough to ragdoll his enemies and proved lethal even to the Titans. Then the ghost of Sparta soared once more on the Pegasus to where life began, to where the Temple of the Fates is, a place called the Island of Creation. Trying to stop this pitiless killer, the guardians of the island came in like a swarm, but none of the flying beasts could stop the burning rage shooting through the sky. the island of creation. Many have come here to change one's destiny, not knowing that it will be their ultimate fall. Despite this, Kratos slashed his way without an ounce of fear, following Gaia's guidance.
You must find a way across to the island, Kratos. For there lies your path to the Sisters of Fate.
Why do you aid me, Gaia?
Zeus must be stopped, Kratos. The story of revenge has been told before. You know of the mighty Titan Kronos. So fearful was Kronos of the Oracle's prediction that his own children would rise against him, that he decided to imprison them all in his belly. Rhea stood by and watched as her children were devoured one by one. But when the time came for the last of her children to be eaten, she was unable to bear another such loss, and devised a trick to save the baby Zeus. Rhea commanded the eagle to secret her son away. He was taken to an island far beyond the watchful eyes of Kronos. It was I who cared for him. It was I who kept him safe. I nurtured his desire to free his brothers and sisters from Kronos. But my foolish act of compassion would haunt the Titans forever. For in sparing Zeus, we allowed him to return to us with vengeance in his heart. He betrayed all of the Titans for the sins of just one. The sins of his father, Kronos.
Betrayer of Titan and betrayer of man, Zeus. Kratos followed Gaia as both had a common enemy. As he sought means to enter the island, he soon found these giant horses, steeds of time connected to the island. But to get close to the steed, consent from the horse keeper was required.
The ghost of Sparta. Then what they say is true.
Theseus.
I serve and protect the Sisters of Fate for the glory of Zeus.
The time of Zeus is coming to an end.
You seek the Sisters to kill Zeus.
Let me pass, and I will let you live, old man.
I do not think that is your choice to make. Come forward. Let us finally see who is the greatest warrior in all of Greece.
The hero that slew the great Minotaur of Crete, Theseus. Honed with his skills with the enchanted spear. The horsekeeper even summoned the Minotaur to take Kratos down. But Kratos also had a thing or two to say in slaying Minotaurs. And a mere Greek hero wasn't much to leave an impression on. Thus, the consent was earned with physical persuasion. And Kratos whipped up the steeds of time. With a deafening nine, The horses pulled the island closer to open the way. Meanwhile, there was another who kept a close eye on Kratos, Kronos. To aid his cause in slaying Zeus, Kronos granted Kratos his rage. As he progressed in with his quest with the Titan's aid, he soon entered an enormous yet eerie marsh.
It is true. I have fought my way through the guardians of Hades and crawled my way out of the fires of torment to change my fate. And for my efforts, the sisters shine their light upon me, delivering the very object of my vengeance, Kratos. The servant of Ares. Do you remember that day, Spartan? I will never forget that day. This time, Ghost of Sparta, I will have your head.
The one who initiated Kratos' suffering, the barbarian king returned from his grave to seek revenge. Against the wrath of death itself, Kratos reacted quickly to take his opponent off his horse. The barbarian didn't give up and pulverized the land to summon wraiths of Hades.
No, not you again!
A reunion with a familiar face. Kratos showed his gratitude. And against the barbarian in his giant form, Kratos swung his blades relentlessly, soon taking that hammer to his own. Thus, the barbarian king was slain again. Then, to get to this temple of Uriel, where the Gorgon gaze petrified all who dared to enter, the ghost of Sparta made his way, pulverizing the hordes of monsters with bloodthirst and relentlessness. As he crossed the bloody river, Kratos found a dying soldier. The soldier told him the leader of Argonaut, a force of mighty heroes, that retrieved the golden fleece from the never-sleeping dragon, Jason, the Greek hero, was in peril. Kratos was deeply moved by his loyalty, so he moved the soldier to open the door, to find Jason said to be in danger. Unlike his reputation, Jason was going through some amputation. So Kratos scolded this three-headed mutt for not knowing what and what not to eat, and obtained the golden fleece. With his power to reflect strikes back, he forced his way into the temple. Yet, the master of this trap-filled temple did not seem to fancy uninvited guests. The one that took many adventurers' lives, Uriel the Gorgon. With petrifying gazes of Gorgons and pure raw strength. One feat is already lethal, but two was something else. But Kratos' golden fleece and rage of titans bestowed upon him was also something else for this monster. Thus, the Spartan conquered the Gorgon Temple, and not even the collapsing bridge could stop Kratos from advancing forward. As the hero who sought to change his lover's fate, with his invisible help, Perseus, who was especially pesky,
No, not there, over here!
was savagely annihilated. Kratos stepped foot into the Palace of the Fates.
Go back, warrior. There is no passage here. You will never make it across. You think you can, but you cannot. Do you hear me? It is my wings that will make it across. It is my test! Do you not know who I am? Have you not heard of Icarus? It is my fate to make it across! None other! This is my test! The sisters will grant me an audience, not you. You will die, White Warrior. You will die.
I will reach the Sisters of Fate, and I will use your wings to do so.
The sisters will not allow you, a fallen god, to bathe in their light!
The two mortals began falling into the great chasm. Thinking flight was on his side, Icarus resisted desperately against Kratos. But Kratos' sole interest was in the filthy old man's wings. A detour from his original destination, Kratos found himself landing upon the Titan Atlas carrying the world. The Titan was conspired with Persephone, Hades' wife, to end life for all beings in the past. But as Kratos, then champion of the gods, stepped in, the plot failed, and Atlas was sentenced like so. As Atlas noticed the one that chained him,
Kratos.
he immediately attempted to crush Kratos.
Why would I ever trust a servant of Zeus?
But as Kratos is no longer the god's champion, he convinced Atlas that he will slay Zeus, verbally this time.
Kratos, still the arrogant and foolish warrior. You have not changed. And how do you plan to defeat the king of the gods?
By taking the blade of Olympus back and driving it into Zeus's heart! It holds the power I once wielded as the god of war!
The blade of Olympus? I have not heard that name in many years. Since the end of the Great War. Bloodlust and power raged within Zeus. His desire to rule over mortals was intolerable to us. The war between the Titans and the Olympians forged the landscape of the mortal world. It was a war that we knew the Titans must win. Then Zeus created a powerful weapon to end the Great War. A weapon forged from the heavens and the earth. The Blade of Olympus.
I banish you to the darkest pits of Tartarus!
I awoke in the torment of the underworld, banished to the darkest pits of Hades.
I would have destroyed Zeus if you had not put me here, slave of the gods. I no longer do the bidding of the gods, Atlas! I have stomached their betrayal for the last time! Show me the way to the sisters, and I will kill Zeus once and for all!
Atlas took notice of Kratos' might and accepted the offer. So he gifted Kratos of his seismic powers, as well as kindly giving him a lift to the surface.
For many rely on your success.
Thanks to that, Kratos could enter the palace with ease. He ran into one of the sisters of the Fates. Lachesis explained that if he can revive a phoenix from its ashes, a path to the temple would be granted. So Kratos slew through the undead soldiers and glided across the rivers of molten lava to get to the Phoenix Chamber. Enduring pests and walls of infernal flames, he acquired the Phoenix's ashes and brought it back to life. To get to the Temple of the Fates, Kratos had to ride on the Phoenix. He unlocked the locks of the bridge and quickly made his way, hoping to see the Sisters of Fate.
I have come too far to fail!
Engaged in a sudden fight with a shadowed figure. The opponent was strong and no doubt brave. But as he was against the ghost of Sparta, his defeat was predestined.
You?
My lord?
I told you to return to Sparta! Why do you leave Sparta unprotected?
Sparta is no more.
What treachery is this?
Zeus. He came under the cloak of darkness into Sparta. The people cried out for you. They begged for their god to save them. But you did not come. Left with no choice. I had to seek out the sisters to change the fate of our beloved Sparta. For I am all that is left. Now you are all that is left. I have faith that our brothers of Sparta will live on through the true God of War.
Is this how you face me, coward? I am through doing the bidding of the gods! Come down here and face me now, Zeus!
Fueling his hatred against Zeus, Kratos faced Kraken. The angered beast rampaged to squash the puny mortal in front of it. But as the Spartan was enraged over his nation's fall, he sharpened his rage beyond that of Titans to shut the gigantic mouth of this octopus and skewer it. And so, the sea monster was sent to its grave. Now Kratos set out to change the grim fate ruled by gods and rode on the Phoenix. Kratos reached the Temple of Fates at last. He recovered the flow of time in the temple to advance forward and reach the center of the temple.
Been expecting you.
Out of my way.
Your resolve is admirable, even if it is misguided. None can change their destiny, Kratos. We sisters determine the fate of all. It was I who deemed that the Titans lose the Great War, and I who have allowed you to come this far. It is not your destiny to kill Zeus.
You no longer control my destiny.
I see Gaia has filled you with her lies.
I have warned you. Let me pass.
You have always amused us, Kratos. But know this, mortal. There is no power greater than the Sisters of Fate. If you challenge us, you will die.
As suspected, fate was not on Kratos' side. To punish the mortal who dared to challenge fate, the goddess of fate displayed her wrath with powerful magic. But Kratos endured and endured, looking for chances to retaliate, and showed her what he was made of: pure vengeance and ferocity.
You do not defy fate, Kratos! For we have woven the events of your life. And now, that life is at an end. We control your destiny, foolish mortal! With a whim, we can end your life! Or allow you to live. Search your memory, Kratos. The sword which you stand on delivered your victory against Ares. Without it, you will be the one who dies this day, not Ares. We can change your past and set your future. This is the power of the Fates!
The sister attempted to change past itself, Atropos, A simple yet effective method to exhibit the power of fate. To defend his past and existence, Kratos fought against the undead pouring endlessly, and fended off Atropos, constantly trying to crack the sword. And after a long defense, Kratos managed to secure the blade.
I am through playing games with you, Kratos. This power was never meant for a mortal like you!
Round 2 with Lachesis began. As Atropos joined forces with her sister, Kratos grew wary over the battle. But undying rage against the gods kept him from giving up and dying. Then the amulet of the fates he had finally smiled upon him. Like so, the two sisters who feared nothing in this world finally met their demises from a battle against a mortal. Now, to find the last goddess of fate, Kratos entered the innermost chamber.
Clotho weaves the thread of life for every mortal, god and titan. Find your thread, and you will be able to control the mirrors of the fates, the source of their power, and use them as a gateway to return to the time when Zeus betrayed you.
You will never control your thread, Kratos.
Clotho, the last standing sister of fate. Like swatting flies stuck on threads, Clotho tried to slam Kratos down. But her sluggish movements obviously could not outspeed that of the ghost of Sparta. Using the bladed pendulum in the chamber, Kratos sent yet another one to the afterworld along with her sisters. With the Sisters of Fate all gone, the loom of fate was his for the taking. Next objective, rewriting his past, starting from the moment of his death.
Even now, as you draw your last breath, you continue to defy me? No matter. What? How can this be? The Sisters of Fate have aided you. Unexpected.
The sisters are dead.
I underestimated you. A mistake I do not intend to repeat. Show the true power of a god.
The time for revenge long awaited. Like the one deemed the king of gods, with bolts of lightning and fists of fury, Zeus pummeled Kratos down. Yet, as Kratos retrieved the blade of Olympus and acquired the mighty powers of the Titans, Zeus was no longer an invincible god. With lightning speed and godlike strength, Zeus beat up his challenger. So the challenger as well put everything he had at stake and struck back the original maker of the Blade of Olympus. Eventually, this cataclysmic battle was slowly ending in favor of Kratos.
I told you I would make you pay for what you did!
I am through playing with you, Kratos!
Release me from this torment of my life.
I will release you from your life, my son, but your torment is just beginning.
You cannot do this, Kratos!
You dare stand against me, Athena?
I do not wish to fight you, Kratos, but I will defend Olympus!
Know this, my son. You have started a war you cannot possibly win. The fates have already deemed me victorious.
No, Kratos! Stop!
Athena! No! Why do you sacrifice yourself?
To save Olympus.
I do not seek to destroy Olympus, only Zeus.
Zeus is Olympus.
He brought this to himself.
Because of fear, Kratos. A fear felt by his father, Kronos. A fear that wrought the Great War. A fear that drove Zeus to kill you. His own son.
His son?
Just as Zeus was compelled to destroy his father, Kronos. You are compelled to do the same. No son should destroy his own father.
No, I have no father.
God after God will deny you, Kratos. They will protect Zeus. Zeus must live so that Olympus will prevail.
If all on Olympus will deny me my vengeance, then all on Olympus will die. I have lived in the shadow of the gods for long enough. The time of the gods has come to an end.
Remember, Kratos, you have the power to control time itself.
Although Zeus had fled, the quest was far from over. Since Kratos possessed the loom of fate, time was a tool at his disposal. So Kratos rewound time to the era of the Great War between gods and titans. And once again, the warrior entered the fray.
We have been expecting you, Ghost of Sparta. The gods are far too powerful for us to defeat now.
All on Olympus tremble at my name. Zeus is weak. Ares and Athena are dead, and I wield the blade. We can win the Great War, but not in this time. Together, we will destroy the petty gods, and we will see Olympus crumble before us. Come with me, Gaia. Return to my time. Victory awaits.
We have faced far worse than this one fallen mortal. But we are the gods. We whom the mortals worship. We who rule over this land. We who will not be swept aside by this petulant fool. Brothers, put aside the petty grievances that have splintered us for so long. We will unite, we will stand together, and I will wipe out this plague. Olympus will prevail.
Zeus, your son has returned! I bring the destruction of Olympus!